it's tough to move outside our comfort zone, isn't it? And she didn't even see the opportunities. So that's where coaching comes in, right? I spend a lot of time with my coaching clients around, well, what about this? Oh, I didn't even think of that. Is often the case. So what was an opportunity she had that she didn't see? One was emailing people after the fact. What else? Slow the meeting down. That's really hard for an SC in this case, right, to interrupt because she doesn't want to hurt people's feelings and so on. What was the other thing?
Extending the time.
Extending the time and doing that in advance, right? So just planning a little bit about how you can be more effective. So I would love for you to think about this now and pick the 3 that you think are closest to your DISC style, and some of you know for sure what your DISC style is, but make your best guess and pick one that you know is challenging for you. Choose that one stretch mindset then that you think you could get the biggest bang for your buck out of, right? For me, it's being probably composed or objective, because I tend to get emotional or excited about things, which serves me in some situations and not in others. So what I'd like you to do is in pairs or maybe in a trio group here, just talk about each of you, which mindset you chose and why, and how it would make you more effective if you were comfortable with it, yeah? And maybe even think of some situations, a do-over situation, a past situation, which it would have been helpful to, in my case, be more composed, for example, as opposed to what you did do, what was natural and normal for you. Does that make sense? So who would be willing to share the mindset they chose and maybe a do-over opportunity? Anybody? Please. You sounded like you had a juicy one over there. So please share. And what's your name?
Chris.
Chris. Burrell.
So I'm typically an SI, pretty equal there.
Okay, so he's an SI.
And
Can y'all hear in the back? Okay.
So I empathize and very receptive.
Yes, I can see that. As you read the audience, and he's smiling and with me and tracking, so thank you for that.
Absolutely, my pleasure. And so one way that I've used this is my partner is all C.
Oh,
And so
I'm sorry. No, I'm just kidding. I'm teasing. I love my C's. I love my C's. Yes,
so
but I know it. Yeah, it's a
one
different.
of the biggest issues that we had initially was the pantry could be organized a certain way in the morning, and I literally could come home and not be able to find something because
He'd reorganize it
reorganized. And
by year, by day.
everything. And so
My dad was like that. That's why I know how that is.
That originally was a frustration point, right?
Uh-huh.
But then after being exposed to DISC and understanding where both of us were,
Yeah.
it allowed some open conversation and some understanding of which battles are you going to fight,
Perfect.
and which battles will you embrace.
Yeah. And I think the other thing to realize that I went over relatively quickly but is significant is DISC is a needs-based model. So people aren't acting this way to make your life difficult. They're really trying to satisfy their needs, as you saw in the assessment. And that really helps people have more compassion and then come up with a good solution. Sounds like you did. And it's nice to have a nice clean house, right? All right, someone else share, please. Yes.
I'll give you one.
Please.
I tend to be a DI. But,
Okay.
S's are the most difficult, but I hire S's because they do the job that I hate.
Mm-hmm.
And I hired an S, and she came into me one day in tears and said she had to quit.
Oh.
And I said, why? And she said, because I can't get my work done. And I said, tell me what's stopping you and where are the issues? She said, I can't get the information I need. And I said, from who? And she said, you. And I was like, why? And she said, well, I send you messages through email and you don't, and I was like, Maureen, I had no idea because I'm one of more than one person on there. I didn't know you were looking for me because you weren't saying to me directly. I said, I'm so sorry. I don't want you to leave. what can I do? Can we meet every day until you have everything you need from me?
Beautiful.
And because the door is open and I didn't know you wouldn't come in. So I thought because she wasn't being direct with me,
Right.
she didn't need anything from me.
Right.
And instead, I was like, we are going to meet every day and make sure that you have everything you need from me because I was not coming to her. And I recognized that at that point,
Yeah.
that I had not noticed.
Beautiful. And that's the value of knowing DISC and understanding this in advance, because you would know what her needs were and she would know
I did
yours.
know, but I wasn't paying any
Well,
That's the
I
thing.
love that you said that because,
Please don't pay attention. We're like, okay, well, if you need something, come to me, be direct.
right,
But that's not what S's do.
right.
And I didn't see that.
Yes, I do
She
too.
came in to quit. She wasn't gonna, but when I asked the questions and realized it, I was like,
Did she stay?
she did.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
I'm glad.
'cause I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I had no idea I was stopping you because
Yeah.
I was focused on get it done, get it done, get it done, and didn't realize
Sure.
I was the problem.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And that's often the case at diagonals, you know, the I's and the C's and the D's and the S's. However, I don't know if some of you have discovered, people who are very much like you are also annoying. You know, I have a lot of high I friends. You can probably tell I'm a high I. And we have a joke because we're all not great at listening because we are talking. And, you know, if there are three of us talking, we interrupt one another, we say, okay, go stand at the tree, it's your turn. Seriously, I am not even kidding, and it's bad. But it makes me realize, that's something I need to really work on, is being more receptive, being more composed, more objective sometimes. You know, you don't have to have the last word, etc. Right? So let's talk about this. So I mentioned this effort meter. Well, here you are. What's your name? Kathleen. So there's Kathleen in DI land, so she's a little to the right of this, but self-assured, dynamic, probably, maybe resolute, maybe outgoing, if you're more towards the I. And you'll see that sometimes it's hard to stretch into the mindsets furthest away from you, right? To be composed.